and Islam against the backdrop of the unfolding of the Jewish faith. The Christian Bible today is divided up into two main sections, the New Testament section and the Old Testament section. What Christians refer to as the Old Testament is basically the Jewish scriptures, which the Jews do not refer to as Old Testament because they do not believe that there is a new one somewhere, but they refer to their sacred scriptures as the Tanakh. Now, in the Tanakh, we have the book of Genesis to begin with, and that's followed by 4 other books, which are said to be the books of Moses. And these books depict the situation prior to Moses and now culminates with the covenant that God has made through Moses. God has given certain laws to the prophet Moses. And this becomes now the foundation stone, the bedrock on which Judaism is built. The stories in the book of Genesis begin with the creation of the heavens and the earth, and with the creation of human beings to populate the earth. So when we think of the book of Genesis and the stories it contains, we are thinking of something that is actually at the core of not only Judaism, but also of Christianity and Islam. But then when we read these books now for our topic tonight, we want to find out what is the concept of God in these books, and how does that relate to the unfolding of Islam. The book of Genesis begins by saying that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So here we have a conception of God. He is the creator of the heavens and the earth. Chapter 1 of the book of Genesis culminates by saying that God created human beings on the 6th day, and that he rested on the 7th day. The Bible will continue, not only in the book of Genesis, but in Exodus and Leviticus and Numbers and Deuteronomy, and in the remainder of the Tanakh, and into the New Testament, to celebrate and glorify this God who is the creator of the heavens and the earth. Now, I mentioned the Abrahamic faiths. Abraham's story is told in the book of Genesis, and Abraham is said to have made a covenant with God, or the other way around, that God made a covenant with him, that God will make Abraham into a great nation. The covenant was reestablished with his son Isaac and emphasized, but also we notice that the covenant was also with the son Ishmael, who in fact was Abraham's firstborn son. God promised him too that God would make him into a great nation. Now this is where Islam fits in within that history, because one of the descendants of Ishmael, a man by the name of Muhammad, who lived in the Arabian Peninsula some 1400 years ago, began to receive revelations from God. The angel Gabriel, whom we know from the New Testament of the Christian Bible, who had visited Mary to give her the good news that she will have a son, now, according to Islamic traditions, visited the Prophet Muhammad, in whom be peace, and gave him a scriptural revelation, a bit at a time. On the first occasion, when the angel visited him, he had no idea of what to expect of this, or how to understand this experience. The angel told him to read, and he protested, I do not know how to read, until the angel gave him the very words which he was to read. And those words which he read on that occasion are found now at the beginning of the 96th chapter of the Quran. Over a period of 23 years following this momentous occasion, from the year 610 of the Common Era until the eventual demise of the Prophet Muhammad, on whom be peace, the angel would keep coming back to him, giving him a piece of that revelation a bit at a time until the entire revelation was completed in the form that we now have it, the glorious Quran, that Muslims revere as the very words of God. Not invented by the Prophet Muhammad, not devised by him or composed by him, but given to him as a revelation impressed upon his mind through the agency of the angel Gabriel. Now when we read the Quran today, we can see that the Quran's conception of God is connected to the Abrahamic faith. The Quran's conception of God is connected to the book of Genesis. The Quran speaks about the same God that is mentioned in the book of Genesis. The same God that the book of Genesis said created the heavens and the earth. The Quran then is speaking about the God of Abraham and of Isaac and Jacob, the God of Ishmael, the God of Moses and Jesus. The Quran is speaking about the God of all of the biblical prophets, because from the Quran's perspective, there is only one God. And you can call him by many beautiful names, but you're still referring to the same one God, because the world was only created by that one God, whether he's spoken about in the Bible or in the Quran. Why do Muslims then use a distinctive name for God? Muslims refer to God as Allah, using an Arabic word. This has a long history. In the Arabian Peninsula, at the time of the preaching of the Prophet Muhammad, on whom be peace, the Arabs were pagans, generally, and they believed in many gods. Some of the traditional reports say that around the sacred mosque in Mecca, there were 360 idols. And this conglomeration of idols came about as people visited the sacred shrine, and they brought their favorite gods and lodged them there, so that when they come back for the following pilgrimage, they would find their favorite gods. In that environment, the unique proclamation of Islam was to say that there is no real God except the one true God. And to use the Arabic expression meant to pay attention to the way in which God was called. Anything that one worships, and it can be called ilah in Arabic, ilah. But the word Allah comes to be known among Muslims as the distinctive name of the one true God, the God of Abraham. How did the word Allah come about? Etymologists are not entirely sure. Some of the commentators on the Quran have suggested that Allah is a contraction of al-ilah. Al in Arabic is the definite article. So ilah means a God. Al-ilah means the God. And over time, people have just contracted that, perhaps in a way similar to the manner in which we contract two words and make them one with an apostrophe. So instead of saying do not, we say don't. We telescope the two together. So in a similar way, some of the etymologists suggest that the word Allah is a contraction of al-ilah, which simply would have meant the God. So instead of saying al-ilah, eventually people began to say Allah. And now, the name Allah has been used so much in the Quran, and so much has it been repeated on the lips of Muslims, till Muslims cannot think of anything other than Allah being called by Allah. So the word Allah for Muslims then only refers to the one true God. And for this reason, Muslims habitually will refer to God not by the English equivalent or by equivalents in other languages, but they will habitually refer to God by this particular name, Allah. But can Allah be referred to using other names? The Quran itself says that whether you call him Allah or you call him Ar-Rahman, which means the most merciful one, or we call him by any other name, to him belongs the most beautiful names. So people may call God by a wide variety of names, but they're still referring to the same one God. In the Quran itself, the word ilah does on occasion refer to Allah. For example, in Surah 2, verse 163, it reads, وَإِلَهُكُمْ إِلَهُ وَاحِدٌ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ الرَّحْمَنُ الرَّحِيمُ. Your God is only one God. There is no God but He, the Beneficent, the Merciful One. That is a reference to the one true God. But the term used to refer to that one true God in this passage is Ilah.